In this exercise, we are going to discover the 2-node camera and we will create this animation. I go to After Effects, right click, import, file, I go to exercise 47. I select this Illustrator document and click on import. I'm not gonna change anything here. I click on OK. And here we get the map composition. I'm gonna double click on this composition. I open it up like this. Inside we find two layers, the map layer and the plane layer. I'm gonna right click here, composition settings, and set the duration to 8 seconds. Click on OK. And I'm gonna start by animating the plane. I select the plane, select it, I press P to bring the position. I'm gonna move the plane a little bit to the left. I want it to be outside the composition. This is the starting position. I click on the stopwatch. I move the playhead all the way to the end, 8 seconds, and I'm gonna take the plane from here to here. I press shift and let go. Now we have this animation that lasts 8 seconds. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna make these two layers 3D. I activate 3D from here. Activate this and this. I'm gonna set this to 2 views. I'm gonna set this to top. I zoom out. I'm gonna select the map layer. I toggle this up. Map layer selected, and I'm gonna move it a little bit to the back like this. I need to leave some space between the plane layer and the map layer. I select the map, press S to bring the scale, and I'm gonna scale it up a little bit like this, 105%, like this. Even 103 is enough. I just want it to be the size of the composition. I don't want any black areas. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a light. Right click, new, light. I'm gonna choose light type, spot, intensity 100%, color white, cone angle, I'm gonna choose 90 for now. I'm not gonna change anything else, and click on OK. Now we have a light right here, and we see it's only focusing on this area and everything else is completely black. That's not what we want. I'm gonna double click on the light and I'm gonna change the cone angle to 180. I want it to cover the entire map. Click on OK, and now we see the entire map is lit and the cone became 180 degrees. It's very wide and lightens everything. This is exactly what we want. We don't see a shadow yet, the shadow of the plane. I need to select the plane. I'm gonna toggle this up, select the plane, toggle this down. I go down here, material options, and casts shadows is set to off. I'm gonna turn it on, click, and now it's on. We can see the shadow of the plane now. This is what we want, and I'm gonna do something else. Here we have accepts lights. I'm gonna turn this off. I don't want the light to affect my plane, so I turn it off. I'm gonna toggle this up. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, and I'm gonna add another light. Right click, new, light. This time I'm gonna choose ambient, the light type, color white, and intensity 30%. Okay, I think this looks good. This is without the ambient light, and this is with the ambient light. I think it looks good. And as the plane moves, because the light is in the center, when the plane moves, we can see the shadow moving from left to right. I'm gonna go to one view, set this to fit, and see how this looks. I think this looks good. I'll go back to two views. And now I'm gonna create a camera. Right click, new camera. For now, I'm gonna choose one node camera. Preset 50 millimeters for the focal length. I'm not gonna change anything else. I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna enable depth of field. Just click on OK. And now we have a camera right here. I'm gonna toggle this down, transform, and the camera options. Of course, we have position. We can move the position like this on the 3-axis. I can move this, change it to custom view 1, and see the camera from here. I can move it like this on the 3-axis. I can also rotate it like this, however I want, using the gizmo or using the values right here. It's the same thing. And position, of course, I can change the values from here. This is the one node camera. If I double click on the camera and change this from one node camera to two node camera, I click on OK. Now we notice we have a new thing that the one node camera didn't have before, which is the point of interest right here. You can see it right here. This is the point of interest. And if I select the camera, this is the point of interest. Now that we have a point of interest, if I try to move the camera, if I try to change the position, I click on position and change the value. We see the position of the camera changing. We see the position of the camera changing, but the point of interest is not changing. I can take it up or down like this, and the camera is always focused on the same point. In and out, but the point of interest doesn't change. And I can change the point of interest by changing these values like this. See, now the camera is not changing, but the direction of the camera, the focus of the camera is changing, as you see, like this. We can change the point of interest from here by changing the values, or I can simply click on the point of interest and move it using the mouse like this. And you can see the result here in the active camera 1. I'm moving the point of interest now. And if I try to move the camera from here using the gizmo, now we notice both the point of interest and position here are selected and they are changing at the same time. If we use the gizmo like this. Now I'm gonna delete this camera. Delete. I'm gonna right click, new camera. Make sure it's to node camera, click on OK. I'm gonna toggle this down, transform, toggle this down, and I'm gonna start by changing the position. I go here, X value, I'm gonna click and drag. You can press shift and click and drag, that way you change the values much faster. I'm gonna move it like this to the left. I'm gonna take it a little bit up like this, and I'm gonna change the point of interest. I select the point of interest. I can change the values from here, or I can manually move the point of interest like this. You see there are a lot of dark areas. I need to go to the Z value of the position and zoom in a little bit like this. Back to the point of interest. I'm gonna move it like this. I don't want any dark areas. I'm gonna go in a little bit. Z value. Make sure there are no black areas here. This is going to be the starting position. I'm gonna put the playhead right here at 0 seconds. Click on the stopwatch here, point of interest, and the stopwatch here of the position. I'm gonna go all the way to the end, 8 seconds, and I'm gonna change the X value. I'm gonna take the camera to the right, press shift, and change the position of the camera like this to the right. We can see it right here. I'm gonna take the camera down, shift, change the Y value. I take it down like this. And I'm gonna go in a little bit more. I change the Z value. I go in a little bit more like this. And now I have to change the point of interest. I'm gonna change the view first. Custom view 1, I'm gonna change it to custom view 3. I zoom in a little bit, and I'm gonna select the point of interest and place it right here. Make sure there are no dark areas. This is very important, especially here. No dark areas. I think this looks fine. I'm gonna change the view to top. I zoom out. I can see the movement here, the movement of the camera. If I click on one point, this is the motion path. I can change the curve like this. I can do that. I'm gonna make the curve like this. Make the curve look like this. And now when we play, I have to make sure there are no black areas. No black areas. I think this looks good. Go back to one view. Fit. I'm gonna play the entire animation now. The exercise now is finished. You go do the same and don't forget to save.